Thank you guys for being on tonight. I'm going to change the view here so I can see everyone. Perfect. All right, so thank you guys so much for being on tonight. We're going to go over social media and how to share your story. I didn't realize that this topic was something that people were struggling with. Well, first of all, that nobody really knew about doing this, or some people didn't understand how to do this. But number two, people were struggling like, where do I start? How do I share this? This is a fragile subject. Maybe it's something that you recently went through, you're in the middle of going through, or something that you've overcome in the past. And when we're on social media, and especially when we're sharing about our story or learning to share about our story, you are going to make a huge impact and you're going to build relationships. So this is a relationship business, whether you use this for Lavelle or you use this from this point going forward every single day on social media, whether you're in direct sales or not. I think it's something that's going to bring a lot of value for your audience and help you build relationships, not only on the internet, but in person as well. And if you're somebody like me who's more on an introverted side, this has definitely helped me make connections with people. So we're gonna hit a lot of topics. If you guys wanna take notes, feel free, you're more than welcome to. Our talking points tonight are adding value, educating, empowering, entertaining, and branding. And when I talk about branding, which we'll talk about this more towards the end, but branding, we are not talking about the company or the products that you share. We're talking about you, your story, what you bring to the table as far as your overcoming of whatever you've been through or the process of getting through that if you're in the process of that now. So every day we wake up, we get on social media, and if you're in this business of direct sales, then you think about, what am I gonna post today? And some days you just have it, like you have it down, you know exactly what you're gonna say, you have something really inspirational, and then other days, you have absolutely no idea. Like, what do? I'm just gonna take this picture from somebody, or I'm gonna copy and paste this post from somebody else. And the idea here is not to come into our shift in this training, is to wake up and not come to Facebook or Instagram and start thinking, what am I gonna get out of my social media today? Who am I gonna sign? That's not what this is about. This is more about how am I going to help somebody else? How am I going to impact someone else? And again, I'm not necessarily saying about your product, but when you're bringing, or your opportunity, when you're bringing value and you're adding value, people want to invest into others that are pouring into them. So if you have something valuable, like your story, which we're going to get into, they will want to invest into you before they invest into somebody else random on their Facebook who's either selling or sharing the exact same thing as you. So we don't want to just copy and paste something for the sake of posting. We want to show up to social media and actually want to make a difference, not what am I going to post today. So how do we do that? How do we start sharing our story? Okay, so let me talk about mine a little bit. So if you don't know mine, and I'm starting to post more about it because I had kind of gotten away from it, but my first few years in network marketing, this was a very big part in the growth of my business, was opening up about my being a mom, going through a divorce, and having 2 children and not having child support. Now, the purpose of sharing that stuff was not to air my dirty laundry, just like the purpose of you sharing your story and how you go about doing that is not to air your dirty laundry. It is not to throw anybody under the bus. It's not to create teams of who's going to be on my team and who's going to not like my ex-husband. That's not what it's about. It's about showing people what you're able to overcome in a time when people feel the most alone. So for some people, that might be, I'm trying to think of the name of that surgery, when they cut your stomach. Some people, that might be abuse. That might be physical, emotional, other types of abuse. I don't know if there's kids watching, but it could have anything to do with that. It could have to do with being adopted. Anything that really has been something that you've been able to overcome or are in the process of that. So you want to help take people on that journey of, this is where I was, this is what happened, this is where I was, and this is where I'm going. So you can be at any part of that journey. So again, it's not about airing your dirty laundry, but sharing with people what you went through and how you're able to overcome it. You don't have to get into details. There was somebody who reached out to me and said, I want to share my story, but I'm so scared because I am scared of I'm threatened by this particular situation. Obviously, you want to use caution. You want to be selective of what you're sharing. For instance, I'm not going to go into every single detail about my marriage. That's not what this is about. It's about, I was in this marriage. This is the situation. We didn't work out. He left. I was never given child support. Like, I wanted to keep the same lifestyle for my kids and maintain some kind of constant, because everything around them was changing. The last thing I wanted was to have to give up my house. So even though there was no contributions from him towards our mortgage, I wanted to keep this roof over my head. So I did everything possible. And my options at that time were either to bust my booty in my direct sales company at that time, or it was to pick up more hours at the doctor's office I was working for, which meant more time away from my kids that they weren't used to. Or I had to get back into bartending and serving, which meant crazy hours. Who knows when I would have time with the kids, and who knows how much I would actually be making, because you just never know if you're going to have a good night, a bad night, whatever. So sharing that with people, that inspires single moms who feel like they're just spiraling out of control. Okay, this woman did it, or this woman is doing it, and this is how she's able to. It inspires other people who are maybe in the serving or bartending industry that want something more stable. This is a solution, right? So, but also you want to be cautious, because your children, like in my instance, my children one day are going to be on Facebook. What do I want them exposed to? There are plenty of other parents that I am friends with from their school, and they go to a private school, and whether they go to private or public, it doesn't really matter. I only want to put out there only so much, you know. I don't want to put anything out there that could come back, you know. I was recently, last year, actually, I was asked to run for commissioner for my city. And I was like, I don't know, like, you know, they could say this, they could say that, they could say this, and what if this comes out? And they're like, listen, that doesn't matter, and blah, blah, blah. Well, you just always want to be cautious, because you never know what is going to come in 2 months from now or 5 years from now. But still, your story is here to inspire other people, not to air dirty laundry, not to put anybody down, not to be passive aggressive, that sort of thing. So your story is going to look totally different than mine, and totally different than your downlines or anybody else's. Don't try and create something that didn't really happen. Don't elaborate on something or be inflammatory about a story that actually didn't play out that way, because people are going to read through it and they want to see your genuineness. And Facebook Lives, by the way, are going to be the best way to do that. You don't just say, okay, you know what? I'm going to share my story, and I'm going to go from 0 to 100. Like, you got to break this in small increments, because you're just starting. You're just starting to share your story. So how do you even start, right? I'm going to help you do that. Well, and I just want to check, make sure I'm good on my notes so far. So today is such a hate culture. Everybody is waiting for somebody to slip up so they can poke, laugh at them, and condemn them on Facebook, right? So let's share more empowering things about our story. Obviously, the plot twist is important, but we want to share how we are overcomers of that story. So there's 3 main things: empower, educate, and entertain. This is what our post should contain, those 3 things. Empower. Society as a whole needs more empowering of others. How can you do that? You should be doing at least 15 minutes of self-development a day. So one way you can start by empowering others through your social media is by sharing with them what you learned or what you took away from that, whether that's a book, a video, whatever. It could be a podcast, anything. But hopefully you are doing self-development every single day. So that's one easy way to empower others. So that's one post idea. And by the way, that's one way to start creating your story on Facebook. Educate. Think about how you can share with others and how it's in tune with your brand. So, you know, I'm jumping a little bit ahead because we're going to talk about branding towards the end, because it's a very basic concept, but it's probably not at all what you think it is. So let's say you enjoy cooking. Okay, so we're selling a health and wellness product. If you are loving cooking, then it would be a great idea to share what you love to cook, a recipe. Go live with tips. Go live with like, oh, hey, I saw something, actually real life. I saw somebody post today that you can use avocados in brownies to make it more creamy or something. I don't know. I don't cook or bake, so it went kind of over my head, but I'm just using that as an example. It's something exciting, cool, healthy, another option for baking that somebody might be interested in. So I think you get the idea. if you're interested in cooking, recipes, tips, things like that. Interest groups. So you've heard a lot of leaders probably share, including myself, oh, you want to build your network brands, like you want to build your brand or your cold market on social media. How do you start doing that? You go, we would say, go to groups that you're of interest, like mom groups, kayaking groups, if you're into kayaking, and go into those groups and add people, right? Well, here's what I want you to take away from this is you're not just going into groups to add people. You are going into groups to add value and add content, which, by the way, every single one of your posts on Facebook should be to add value and add content, unless it's something about your family, like pictures of your kids, a vacation you just took with your family, etc. But go to those groups and start adding value. Like, why are you in there? You joined that group for a particular reason. So for me, if it's a group about chiropractic, because I love chiropractic, I go in there and I share something that I used to do when I was in the field, because I was doing that for 10 years. And I would share some awesome tip and something that I did to help keep the office organized or whatever. And then people would be like, oh, I like this girl's idea. Let me chat with her. Like, they might comment and then I'll engage with them. And then eventually you're going to create this following because you have created a presence in those groups. If you're just in those groups liking posts and like liking comments and replying to a couple things, that is not adding content. Go in, share your ideas, and share your knowledge. And the third thing, entertain. So people love funny things. Facebook, they love to laugh. It kind of gives them a break during the day for those that are working. Entertaining posts can become shareable content. So if you're wanting to reach a larger audience, if you're wanting to create followers, if you're wanting to go potentially viral at some point, you have to share something that other people want to see. So that could be funny things, again, educational or empowering things. But if you're sharing these things that could be empowering or adding value to somebody, then make sure that it's shareable. So make sure it's a public post so that people will be sent back to you, basically, if it is shared. Okay, likability. We talked about this on the team page a little bit. I think I went live. How likable are you? Like, really, how likable are you? In real life, when somebody comes, you run into someone or you meet someone, how do they walk away feeling about you? Do they feel excited? Do they feel like, wow, I don't know what it is about that girl, but I just feel like really good about myself. Is that you? Like, is that how people are feeling about you when they walk away? Or are they like, ugh, I feel so drained, right? Now, we all have our days, including myself, but we want to make an effort to be likable. That means we're talking about them. We're allowing them to talk about them. We're talking about us less. And when we do talk about ourselves, we are using content that relates to them. So again, social media or real life, if they have 3 boys and you have 2 boys and a girl, you guys joke back and forth about how different it is from boys to girls. Like, it sounds easy right now, but as an introvert, it has taken a lot of practice to try and figure out how to become and have conversation and do these kind of things. So be likable in person, be likable on social media. And how do you give to others? Which, by the way, is a huge reason why somebody would be likable. How do you give to others? Like, not everybody just has extra money to just not throw away, but to give. Giving is not monetary. Just give your attention, give your help, give a contribution. During Christmas, I had offered to help parents wrap if they were like a single parent and they needed help at wrapping, specifically, especially men. And that's not for me to meet men. It wasn't for me to start whatever. It was like my Tinder way of meeting men or my Match.com way of making a post to meet men. It was genuinely because over the last couple of years, a couple of my guy friends who are single dads were like, hey, can you please help me with these presents because I'm a terrible rapper and Santa needs to bring these on Christmas morning. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can help you. So I had offered to do that. Do you know that that is so valuable to those men who maybe can't do that? To me, as a mom, without a man around, like, there are things here that need done that I can't do. Maybe it's clean my gutters. So if you're a guy on this, if it's clean the gutters, if it's hang something up or Why is my sink not draining? Like, maybe can you message somebody? How awesome is it when somebody else can help you in a way that you can't do it yourself? So think about what way you have or what abilities you have to be able to share like that. I remember a couple years ago, I had the horses at my house, and I had this white pony who was super cute, and he was super friendly with kids. And there was this family that was going through like a lot of stuff, a lot of financial stuff, just like a lot of stuff, drama and whatnot. And so I said, hey, it sounds like you guys could maybe use a day away. Like, what do you guys think about coming over? We'll have a picnic. The kids can come brush the pony. They can take pony rides on the pony, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was a way that I could help and make a difference in somebody's life for that day that they would take with them for a very long time. So it just took a little bit of my time, giving of my time, to make a difference. That is why people remember you. That is what brings people to you. That is why people are attracted to you. So not only money, not only what you're posting, but how can you do things in person to help other people make a difference? That is what we're focused on, is making a difference for others. Not what am I going to get out of this, including the sale, including the prospecting and all of that stuff. Like, that's on the back burner. Like, we are doing this because we want to help people. We want to share our story in a time where people feel the most alone. You want to be the lighthouse to those people. I remember when I was going through what I went through in my divorce, and I felt like, yes, I had friends. I had a few friends, but I didn't really want to burden them with things. And if maybe somebody had made themselves more available, not that they were unavailable, but if maybe even on social media, a total stranger had made themselves more available by sharing that they had been through XYZ experience, I may have felt more open to sharing what I was going through, knowing that somebody else had been through it and I could relate, they could relate with me. Because we are not meant to do life alone, you guys. We are meant to have friends. We are meant to have a companion. We are. That's one of the reasons why we're here on earth. So just show love and less judgment and less negative posts, less, like, no passive aggressive stuff, if you can stay away from that. And there's something I really wanted to share about that. Just being a lighthouse for people's darkness. Because even if it seems like, hey, this is a great mom. Okay, here's an example. So I started talking about this type topic for the last week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. And I received a message last week from somebody, and she said, Deanna, I don't know who I can tell about this, but I have to tell somebody because I'm so excited about it. I haven't talked to my prom date in 3 decades, and they're coming to see me today. Like, they're coming in town today to see me. I have goosebumps. And this person was so excited. And to hear that from them, and even though it wasn't a verbal thing, it was text in a message, to hear that somebody felt that they could open up to me because I've built this trust on social media. I've met this person one time in real life. And they felt like they could open up to me because of whatever the sharing that I've done with them, whether it's social media or messages or whatnot. I'm approachable. They feel like they could come to me. They said that they couldn't share this with anybody else. They couldn't share it with their sisters. They couldn't share it with their kids. And that, it made my heart really, really happy. Like, I started crying because I could feel the joy for that person. And I remember what it's like to either have something really terrible that I'm going through and not feel comfortable sharing it, or to have something really exciting and wonder, who can I share this with that either isn't going to judge me, or that has been through something similar, or just somebody that I can be a friend with that doesn't maybe know like all the stuff. So anyways, I hope you guys get the message from all of that. So where do you even start? How do you even begin to share your story? Empowering, we talked about empower, but specifically, like, how do I wake up tomorrow and start this process? Think about making an impact by sharing an inspiring quote. Not, aw, Rachel, I love that, thank you. It doesn't mean an inspiring quote you know, as soon as you wake up, and then, oh, I got to find one for lunch, and then I got to go to bed with another inspiring quote. I personally like to post one at the first thing in the morning. Like when I was using a website or an app to help me post online, it was like timed, it was pre-scheduled, which by the way, I don't use that anymore. It's not good for your algorithm. But when I did, I always started every single day off with an inspiring quote. So you can also go into your notes section on your phone and put a bunch of inspiring quotes. Aw, Sammy. You can put a bunch of inspiring quotes in the notes section. So that way, as soon as you wake up, you just copy and paste. It's mindless because you've already done the work. A lot of people like Les Brown, including myself. These are people that I do like. Les Brown, Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, Danny Johnson, Zig Ziglar, and Jim Rohn. Those are all fantastic role models that you can find inspiring quotes by. Anyways, why inspiring quote? Why is that a way to help open the door to get to where you're going with this concept? When I was doing that every single day, I would literally have people reach out to me. They would send me, I'm like, this is no joke. They would just send me a message and be like, hey, I just want you to know I look for your posts every single morning because it wakes me up, puts me in a good mood, or I wake up so inspired and it sets the tone for my day, da da da. So it really does make a difference. You guys think your social media is just another post out there? Well, you're right if you're not adding value and content to your post. But if you're sharing something that's going to help somebody feel better, be better, or act better, then you're truly making an impact. So branding yourself. Final thought before we do the video, and I really want you guys to look at this video and listen to it, and then I have homework for you. So branding yourself, 3 things. Think about 3 ways to brand yourself. I'm not talking about Lavelle. I'm not talking about the patch. I'm not talking about the opportunity. I'm talking about 3 things that when people see a horse, they're going to think of me. When people see whatever, maybe for you, it might be, I'm trying to think of something. It might be something controversial. So if you are very educated on, I don't know, medicines or something. Let me make sure everybody's blocked here, muted. But if you're very educated on something that might be controversial, and that might be your target audience, you don't have to, how do I say this? It's attraction marketing, and attraction marketing is attracting the right people that have the same viewpoint as you. And attraction marketing also is not for everybody. Attraction marketing takes a long time because you're going to probably tick some people off along the way. So I'm not saying to do attraction marketing. You have to do what's going to work best for you. But I'm just saying brand yourself with 3 different things. 3 things that add value to people. So if horses are like a big thing in my life, one of the groups I'm going to be a part of is a horse group, maybe a local horse group, maybe a global and a local horse group. And I'm going to go into those pages and I'm going to add value by sharing my experience or sharing, hey, guess what? My horse, this happened to my horse, and this is what we did, and this is how it got fixed, because other people will be able to relate and learn and get value or content from that. So think about those 3 things. How are you going to inspire people? So it might be the horse world for me. It might be kayaking for you, or cycling, or whatever you're into. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share this video, and then after that, and by the way, try and keep it to the 3 things, because if you start adding in, if you're posting about horses and cats and dogs and pigs and goats and sheep and kangaroos, like people aren't gonna know what you stand for. Like you have all this stuff and people don't even pay attention anymore. So, and yes, you guys do need to be doing videos and going live, and I know that that's like super scary. But work up to that point. But your algorithm is going to score a lot higher with the live videos. I'm reading your comments and messages. So sweet. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the screen share and get this over to you guys. Hold on 1 second. I haven't screen shared in a long time, so where do I go? There we are. All right, hopefully you guys can see the screen. If not, post about it.
Included. We have a mission. We have a mission. And you could hear, so he'd kill you on the spot. No, we're still here for those who are not yet included. We have a mission. We have a mission. And so that's what God is saying to us. He is saying that we have to understand that we were made to go with people who are not like us. And maybe sometimes it's intimidating. I heard this story one time. I love this. It's one of my favorite stories. It's about a Sunday school teacher. And she was not just a Sunday school teacher. She was an awesome Sunday school teacher. She was awesome because A, she loved her kids. And she wanted to bring out all of the potential in them. And B, she kept them busy the whole time. I mean, she just kept them involved in the stories and, the flannel boards and all of this kind of, some of you don't have no idea what I'm talking about, but it was great. And she'd keep them engaged the entire hour. And then at 1 minute till 10, she ended the class the same way every Sunday. She'd say, okay, kids, stand and let's do the church. Let's build the church. And she did some of you are old enough to remember this. I can't do it with a microphone in my hand, but some of you remember this. Here's the church. Okay, here's the church. Now, if you know how to do this, stand up so you can show your neighbors. Just stand up. Come on, please. Please, just help me out here. Okay, here's the church. Here's the steeple. Open the door. And there's the people. Yeah, okay, good. All right. Nobody's coming to your church. I'm watching. I come to your church. Anyhow, but the kids loved it, Well, one day, this little kid comes in the room. He was visiting from out of town. And his name was David. And she noticed that David's right sleeve was empty. Somehow he had lost his entire arm. Well, she panicked because she didn't want those other kids to make him feel bad or embarrassed, You know how kids are. They don't care. What happened to your arm? Does it hurt? How do you eat? And that kids don't, that's okay. It's the kids, So she's in her mind, she's got to keep them even busier. And so she's just panicking. She's engaged them for an entire hour. She kept them so busy that they couldn't ask David about his arm. And finally, right at the end, there's 1 minute till 10. And she said, okay, kids, let's build it. Yeah. She realized David couldn't do it. And she was absolutely paralyzed until little Mary, who had this sensitive little spirit, goes up beside David, and she put her left arm around David's back. And she stuck her right hand up, and she said, let's build the church together, David. That's how the church gets built. Can I say something to you? Spiritually, none of us have two arms. We all need each other. This is how the church gets built. I'm with you, and you're with me, and you have strengths that I don't have, and I have strengths that you don't have. We need each other. It says later in First.
Phew, my eyes are watering. I'm not crying, you're crying. So hopefully you guys loved that, reading your messages. But anyways, that story really touched my heart. I thought it was really interesting that sermon, the entire thing was on relationships. So we can't build our relationships alone. A relationship takes more than one person. So how are you going to go out there and impact other people? How are you going to go out there and be the other hand that meets the other one to be able to do that? You have to make an effort. Allow people to come to you and feel welcome coming to you. Be a friend. Be a good friend to other people. To people you don't even know. You don't know how you're going to impact people. And it's going to take time, you guys. This is not going to be something that's going to impact your business by next week. This is going to be taking months and potentially years before you really see the fruits of this. But again, this is not necessarily for your business. This is for you, okay? This is for you. You will hear plenty of people say, don't brand yourself. You got to brand the company. You got to brand the product, regardless of what company it is, regardless of what product it is, Lavelle or any other company. monetary things go away. Things happen. The only thing that is firm and standing is you and your family and your story. So being true to those things is what's going to bring people in, because those things aren't going to change. Your story is what it is. And your story, the reason you have been through what you've been through is to impact other people and show people what they're capable of getting through. And again, that's going to look different for every single person. There's a story, but I'm going to save it for another time, a personal story. But anyway, so your homework is to figure out what are those 3 ways I can brand myself and make an impact by adding value and bringing content to my social media to help other people or inspire others or educate or entertain, all of those things, empower. What are those 3 things? What do they look like for you? It could be a sport, a hobby, a job, something that you enjoy doing, whatever, an animal. So think about that. And then, so that's your homework, brand yourself. Think about those 3 things. And then number 2 is to think about what you're going to start your day off tomorrow with. Maybe that means self-development followed by an empowering education, whatever, on your social media. Or maybe that's a quote to start tomorrow morning off. But let's start changing the dynamic of our social media and get to somewhere that is making a difference, not only in our teams, in our company, in our business, but on a much bigger scale by empowering other people to know that they are not alone in the times that they feel the most alone, dark, whatever. You are going to be the lighthouse for other people. And this is how you start doing that. So I would be happy to help anybody. If you have questions, if you have specifics, like just message me, reach out. Otherwise, I am really excited for what's about to happen in your business, or over time is going to happen, because like I said, it will not happen overnight. But you guys, I'm just beyond excited because this has made a huge difference in my business. And I'm so happy to be getting back to this idea. I had spent a lot of time away from it. But since I started getting back to it, I don't know, I feel like this light around my face with a selfie light right now. But no, I feel this light around my business, and I just feel really empowered because I'm empowering other people. It's crazy. And you just wake up inspired and you wake up ready to go. So it's hard to put into words. You just have to experience it, and you're getting ready to experience it. I'm so excited for you. Thank you guys for being on.